Ron Harris here from muscledevelopment.com, coverage of the Tampa Pro, brought to you by High Tech Pharmaceuticals. Standing here with last year's New York Pro champion and his wife. Please welcome Iain and Melissa Valliere.
There you go. You got it. I was worried for a second. I thought you were going to say last year's Tampa Pro runner-up and leave out my New York. I was like, oh, come on, don't let me like that, man.
No. I've done worse than that in these interviews. Trust me. This is not going to be the standard interview. It's going to be, first of all, last year we had a messed up year with COVID. Melissa, you couldn't be at Tampa last year because of, you thought you were going to lose your job basically or something, because you guys had to quarantine for 2 weeks when you got home.
Yeah.
So you weren't able to be here last year, and poor Iain, this poor guy, he's all alone.
Poor me.
Yeah, he lost his mind last year being by himself.
You came back to the New York Pro 3 weeks later, and all of a sudden he wins.
I actually quit my job. I quit my job and came, and then he won, and that's the reason.
Did you really quit your job?
I did.
Yes.
Wow.
I did.
That's dedication.
Yeah, right?
I gave her the 10 grand, that's why.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay.
No.
Everyone's been following along the progress pics. You put up a couple. Patrick Choi, your coach, very good with progress pics with his clients.
Yeah.
He's a great, you never see one picture of Patrick on his Instagram, by the way. That's what I love about the guy. It's all about the clients.
Yeah, what does he even look like? No idea.
You've never seen him?
No, I have.
Swiss guy.
Lost the light there.
Yeah, we lost the light. That's all right. We're going to keep going, Hector. No? Are we still recording? Keep going, yeah? That's how we do it, man. So, Iain, everyone's curious. How are you different from the last show? Because it seems like you've been putting on all kinds of awesome new masks.
Yeah, I mean, I think, the best word to really put it, just to sum it all up, is just I'm going to be a lot more muscular. I mean, I could pick apart here shot by shot and say, I improved my back double, or my hamstrings came up, or this and this. But I think just the increased level of muscularity I'm going to have in my entire physique, and just continuing to balance my physique, and bring the more maturity to my physique, is going to be a very, very different look. And I think I started to show that a little bit at the Olympia, especially after New York and Tampa. I think the showing of that was starting to come out towards the Olympia, and we've just continued to add on to that. I think, I don't want to throw out numbers here because sometimes people think I'm full of shit.
People love numbers, though.
As of this morning, based off 2 days out from the Olympia, I'm exactly 10 pounds heavier.
Wow.
So my conditioning has not suffered. I mean, we'll find that out Saturday. If I go on stage and I'm a fat, watery mess, well, then we'll take this part out. But I guarantee you that's not going to be the case. But, I expect to be, 7 to 8 pounds heavier on stage with no loss of conditioning. I think actually the added muscularity will aid in the look of conditioning. So, I'm just really excited to get up there and show people, a different Iain, and, an Iain that I think people really, I think resembles the type of training and the kind of work ethic that I like to present, that hardcore, blue collar, kind of like Branch Warren, James Hollingshead kind of thing. And I think in the, the hard, heavy training, I think that really comes to shine through with a certain style of physique, and that's really what I want to come forward in my physique, is just heavy, hard training, intensity, and that to show, and just, I want to absolutely overpower people with muscularity, and that's, I think, what I'm going to do on Saturday.
So not to scare any of the other open competitors, but he was 7th place at the Olympia. He's got 10 more pounds of muscle, and the condition is pretty much the same.
I mean,
Compared to the Olympia, I would say it's the same. Compared to the other shows, it's better.
yeah.
I have heard, Melissa, you are brutally honest with Iain. You're not just a cheerleader.
Well, that's why I asked, because I was like, I could sit here and say a million things and say I look better, I'm 10 pounds heavier, and this and this. And I mean, everyone's obviously going to talk up saying that they look better, but, and this is one of those things. I think the stage will be the great definer, and I think come Saturday, people will see what I've been working on since the Olympia, and I think it's going to be a lot more muscle with conditioning that already, I think, stood out at the Olympia.
Well, it's hard because there's more muscle, so I feel like there's more detail, which makes you think that the conditioning's better, but I think the conditioning is very similar, but there's just way more detail now, and I think that's coming from the muscle maturity and the added 8 pounds that he's put on in the last year.
I'm just curious, does your brother come to you for critiques or no?
To me?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
Or is he like, what do you know?
No, I feel like, well, I mean, I compliment very easily. I feel like Iain doesn't compliment very easily, so if Christopher wants, like, an honest opinion, he's going to go to Iain because Ian's the last person to say you look
With your
good.
brother, for sure.
With
yeah.
Christopher, yeah.
With me, she's definitely not as complimentary, but but she's also like, it's her brother, and she knows that that's what I'm there for, to be the tough critic and to put that, that little tough love when it's needed to Chris, and that's what my Melissa is for me. So, obviously Patrick does as well, but
Iain also does not believe me when I compliment him.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I look great, Art.
yeah, you're full of shit. Stop lying to me.
Yeah.
Why would you lie to me? Don't even ask then. Why'd you ask if you don't want my answer? yeah.
Most of you already know this, but if you don't, Iain happens to be the coach of the 2-time Classic Physique Olympia champion. He's not just an awesome athlete himself, he's an excellent coach. We'll get into that. We'll get into that some other times as we get close to the Olympia. But for now, man, you've been very generous with your time. Geez, you did an interview with me, Giles, and now you do another with me. Thank you so much, Iain. Appreciate it.
Yep,
Best of luck.
Thank you.
I don't know if luck is what you need right now because you're looking great, but we'll see what
good to
happens.
go.
Thank you, Melissa, for putting up with my shenanigans.
Thank you.
And that's it. We'll see you guys Saturday on stage. See how this all shakes out. Good luck, man.